My name is Nassine Saps.
Let me ask you a question. Has anything ever happened to you that you couldn't explain? That made you feel sort of foolish when you tried to tell somebody about it? Well, if it has, you have plenty of company, as you'll soon see.
Actually, the bitten apple from Snow White, given to you by a witch to put you to sleep. That's what Steve Jobs said. Or you could believe that it actually came from the serpent of the tree of life, as this symbol, of course, is a satanic logo. But you can carry on with your day-to-day mining, dig, 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 never knowing why, trying to get your bling. But the truth of the story is that the sky might be falling, or it might all be psychological warfare, as is expressed in the very story of Chicken Little. And I highly recommend all of you go home and watch Chicken Little and realize the psychological import of this story. As I don't know today, but they are currently programming our children to warfare. But now they've got the Novi dolls to get them to start to relate with the idea of human-alien hybrids. And for your boys, we've got the warfare, the competition, and all of the things that come with that. You want to go out and buy your kid an AR-15, and you might notice that when they put the displays on your stores, they don't even show the good side of the Force. They're only promoting the dark side. Walt Disney has been incorporated with the military-industrial complex since day one, and all of the programming that comes out of there is designed to program your children to warfare. They've taken over your store aisles, and for the girls, they've got monster princesses. And the catchphrase on the Monster High dolls is, be unique, be yourself, be a monster, which is actually Lady Gaga's phrase as well, be a monster.
At the beginning of my career, I have always loved to transform. I've always loved to shapeshift. And
do you record while the bus is moving, or does it have to come to a stop?
Yeah, well, sometimes they don't want to, and they're, Gaga, we can't get, the frequency's weird, and, it's sounding a little bit strange, and I'm like, if you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna, I get a little bit mad.
Easter story in a nutshell, real fast, okay? All right, according to the ancient historian Josephus, Nimrod, the king of Babylon, was punished for his rebellion at the Tower of Babel by Noah's son Shem. His body was cut into many pieces and sent to the surrounding communities as a warning against idolatry. Nimrod's wife, Semiramis, the queen of Babylon, she claimed that he did not actually die, but rather ascended into heaven and had become the sun god. She, of course, being the wife of the sun, had to make herself into a goddess. I mean, that's just automatic, Now, Semiramis taught that the moon was a goddess that went through a 28-day cycle and ovulated when it was a full moon. She then claimed that she came down from the moon in a giant moon egg that fell into the Euphrates River and hatched open, and she came out the bare-breasted, Ishtar. This incident, according to her story, supposedly happened at the time of the first full moon after the spring equinox. Does that ring any bells out there?
Now, it's not an egg, is it? It's a vessel? Is that what you call it?
He said, make sure you tell everyone it's a vessel. And I said, okay.
Okay, it's a vessel. Yeah. Okay, it's a vessel. And you were in there for like a couple of hours.
I was in it for 3 days.
For 3 days, wow. That's...
Actually, it was inspired by humanoids, alien sex humanoid hybrid woman.
My favorite.
That she came down from the moon in a giant moon egg that fell into the Euphrates River and hatched open, and she came out the bare-breasted, Ishtar. This incident, according to her story, supposedly happened at the time of the first full moon after the spring equinox. Does that ring any bells out there? Just checking. Semiramis then became known as Ishtar, and her moon egg became known as Ishtar's egg. Ishtar, aka Semiramis, she claimed that she had become pregnant then by the rays of the sun, and then later she had this little baby. They named him Tammuz. Now here's where we meet the little Ishtar bunny. Tammuz was noted to be especially fond of rabbits. He really liked the little bunny rabbits, and they became sacred in the ancient religion. I mean, after all, Tammuz was considered to be the kid of the new sun god, now named Baal. Tammuz, like his supposed daddy Nimrod, became a really good hunter. Later one day, when Tammuz grew up and was 40 years old, he was actually killed by a wild boar while out hunting. And Ishtar, being the eternal sex goddess of the sun, used the rabbit that Tammuz likes so much in her religion as a sign of sexual desire and fertility. Now, rabbits are still a sign of sexual desire and fertility to this day. That's pretty much common knowledge. We all know about that. Now, Easter, by the time her son Tammuz was killed, was worshipped as the mother of God and the queen of heaven. She continued to build her mystery religion and proclaimed this 40-day period of time of sorrow each year prior to the anniversary of the death of her son Tammuz. During this time of 40 days, no meat was to be eaten. If you want more on this weeping for Tammuz, you can read about it and what God has to say about it. In Ezekiel chapter 8, he kind of condemns it a little bit. Ever since Semiramis instituted her Babylonian mystery religion all across the world, every year on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox, a sunrise mass or sacrifice was made to Ishtar, in which the priest of Easter would impregnate virgins on the altar at sunrise. Those virgins then became pregnant, and a year later, that next coming spring around the time of Easter, those infants were usually about 3 months old, and they would be sacrificed on the altar of Easter, and the priests would then dye Ishtar's eggs in their blood. You'd think that this practice would be dead. But now we would never fall for something like that. I mean, after all, we've got it all figured out, don't we?
It looks like, exactly, it looks like I will imagine an alien, how to say, shape?
Spaceship?
Spaceship.
UFO, flying saucer? Flying saucer?
It feels like an ovni from inside. Like you're about to go to the space.
I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard a shawarma. I've heard a beehive. She said UFO alien.
Now, it's not an egg, is it? It's a vessel? Is that what you call it?
He said, make sure you tell everyone it's a vessel. And I said, okay.
Okay, it's a vessel. Yeah. Okay, it's a vessel. And you were in there for like a couple of hours.
I was in it for 3 days.
For 3 days, wow. That's...
Actually, it was inspired by humanoids,
okay.
Alien, sex humanoid, hybrid woman.
My favorite. Now you do something that women don't do.
And what we've been doing with the egg and the rebirth, it's meant to signify an artistic statement of birthing a new race. And it's a race with no prejudice, a race within the race of humanity.
Yeah.
That's really the statement in it.
I wanted to ask you because, you know, Amy Winehouse passed about a week ago now, I guess it is. She's 27, an incredible artist. You know, your thoughts on the passing of somebody with such amazing talent?
I'm just so devastated.
So Genesis 3 tells us the Isha and the humans with them started using this cloak of light, and they also learned how to distinguish between those who were wearing the cloak and those who weren't. And this cloak of light is all throughout the Bible. It's the coat of many colors that Jacob gave to Joseph. We know colors are frequencies of light. So Joseph's coat of many colors was a coat of light. And we're told in Revelation 13 that the image is a deceiving clothing of light. And in Genesis 3, we're told the shaft is what changes the Ishah's appearance, making them beautiful. So the shaft is a shaft of light. We're also told Satan transforms into an angel of light, and we know Satan is another name for the serpent, which is the image.
Around you since you're in London. Do you get to bring your other half with you when you go on tour? Is that very important for you? Because leaving London, I guess the one thing you leave behind are family and friends.
Yeah, with my fiance, which is nice.
It seems to literally refer to non-humans. Notice Jeremiah 2:21 uses the word in reference to a vine. It says, I planted you a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then are you turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine? That is, how have they turned into aliens, like Hosea points out? The answer is that they interbred with alien hybrids, as explained in Genesis 2 and 3. The strange vine seems to refer to the branch of the fig tree that was sown by the marriage between the Ishah and the humans using the strange flesh image technology. Lamentations 5:2 adds to that, where it says, our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. The third word translated as alien in the Old Testament is word number 5236. This word is also translated as strange or stranger, and it says this word refers to heathendom. In other words, it refers to heathens or Gentiles, which are locusts. In Isaiah 61:5, it says the sons of the alien are the plowmen. This connects back to a riddle in Judges 14. In a previous video, we looked at this riddle concerning the honey. It tells the story of how Samson's parents ate honey that came out of a dead lion. Then it asks, what is sweeter than honey and stronger than a lion? And it gives us the clue, you must plow with Samson's cow to find out. Babylon and Egypt are the cow, Babylon the Great, Jeremiah 46:20 and Jeremiah 50:8-13. Babylon starts out as a lion, according to Daniel, but after several thousand years ends up being a cow. That's part of the reason the riddle says, out of the eater comes meat. The riddle says you must plow with Samson's cow to solve the riddle. So we left off in Genesis 3 verse 7 that says, and the appearance of them both blossomed, and they learned to distinguish who was bare. And the next part of this verse may be the most important point of all. It says, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. But this word translated as leaves, number 5929, also means branch. So it says they sewed the fig branch together and made themselves aprons, or number 2290, which also means armor, either aprons or armor. And notice this word stems from 2296, which means to bind on. So it says they sewed the fig branch together and made themselves bound on armor. So verse 7 says, and the appearance of them both blossomed, and they learned to distinguish who was bare, and they sewed the fig branch together and made themselves bound on armor. And this bound on armor or apron is also referenced in Isaiah 3. Is said in verses 20 and 24 that after their beauty is gone, that attire of the breathing substance of human bodies, the serpent charming enchantment, it says, after that is gone, it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of an apron or armor, an encircling robe. So this is confirmation again that the putting on of the apron armor is actually the putting on of the image, the cloak of light, the attire of the breathing substance of human bodies, the serpent charming enchantment, the changeable suits of apparel, the covering membrane, the coat of many colors, or the cloak.